I mean, it feels like a physical game every game. Feels like it's been a physical season. But yes, I think, I feel like I've been on the ground a little bit more this series so far. But we just keep getting back up, so that's all you can really say.
The Indiana Fever didn't lose Game 2 of the WNBA semifinals. They had it stolen from them in plain sight. This wasn't playoff basketball, it was a primetime robbery orchestrated with 41 foul calls, a rulebook that only seemed to apply to one team, and a level of physicality so out of control that even the winning coach called it a joke. The league wanted its golden franchise, the Las Vegas Aces, to win, and the officials delivered. But they made one crucial mistake. They only succeeded in angering a team that's now heading home for payback in front of a furious home crowd.
And Asia Wilson and the Las Vegas Aces lose Game 1 on their home court to the Indiana Fever, 89-73. The Indiana Fever were in control of this game from start to finish.
To understand the absurdity of Game 2, you have to remember the masterpiece of Game 1. The Fever didn't just win in Las Vegas, they walked into the fortress of the two-time champs and surgically dismantled them. That night was a showcase of discipline and execution. The undisputed star was Kelsey Mitchell, who unleashed a playoff career-high 34 points, torching the Aces from every spot on the floor. She was a blur of motion they had no answer for, a scoring machine operating at peak performance.
In the WNBA, you cannot blindside somebody and set a screen on them without enough time for letting the player being screened react. And then look at this. This one, their arms lock up, but you gotta let go at some point. Like, you can't bring the person closer to you and just stay locked in while the offensive player is trying to get the rebound. But we know Asia Wilson only receives foul.
While Mitchell soared, the newly crowned MVP, Aja Wilson, had one of the worst shooting nights of her career, going a miserable 6 for 22 from the field. Indiana's defense was relentless, turning her MVP celebration into a nightmare. They controlled the tempo, moved the ball with precision, and sent a shockwave through the league with a dominant 16-point victory. That win wasn't a fluke. It was a statement that the Aces in the league clearly weren't ready to hear.
Steph, why don't you think you were able to find any flow? And when that was the case, what are you trying to do to jumpstart things, maybe on the defense?
Well, it's hard for us to find flow when there's a foul call every 10 seconds. I mean, it just really is. And when they're at the free throw line, we can't get up and down the floor. And that's a challenge. They were much more aggressive and physical defensively. We didn't counter that with our off-ball actions or with our back cuts. So they took us out of our comfort zone. I mean, offense is about rhythm, it's about timing, it's about spacing. We allowed them to do that, and they kept us from doing it.
Then came Game 2, and with it, the inevitable correction. Las Vegas, embarrassed on their home court, abandoned any pretense of playing basketball and opted for a street fight. The result was an ugly, chaotic mess defined by an astronomical 41 total fouls called throughout the game. But the raw number doesn't tell the whole story. The whistles blew with a strange and convenient rhythm. Every time the Fever tried to run, a foul would stop play. Every time they built momentum, the game would grind to a halt.
Yeah, Lexi, obviously you were a late add to the injury report today. Just how are you feeling this morning with your back, and what do you have to do to be able to play?
I mean, I'm feeling sore still, but I think just a lot of treatment, trying to get, our bodies as ready as we can be. Part of playoffs, I think, for everyone is it's the end of the season. Everyone's a little fatigued, everyone's a little sore. So just trying to go out there and do the best I can. A lot of treatment with our trainers. I'm really thankful for them to spend a lot of time with me today, a lot of time with me yesterday, getting me ready for tonight.
As Fever coach Stephanie White later explained, it's impossible to find any offensive flow when a foul is called every 10 seconds. That chaos wasn't an accident, it was a strategy. By turning the game into a sluggish physical brawl, the Aces dragged Indiana into their kind of fight, one where brute force was rewarded far more than skill. The beautiful, fluid offense from Game 1 was suffocated, chopped to pieces by a symphony of whistles that consistently sang in Vegas's favor.
This is what happened. They cut it to 8, and they get 4 fouls in a row. That was not a foul. That was not a foul. This is crazy. 4 consecutive fouls. So from 8, it goes to 13 really quick, and the rest was history. It looks like Howard got hit in the arm by 2 players. They don't call foul. It was a shot clock. But the rest of the game were just a whole bunch of fouls being called, people flying.
No one embodied the brutality of this strategy more than Lexie Hull. She shouldn't have even been on the court, listed as questionable after suffering a painful back injury in Game 1. Knowing she was wounded, the Aces seemed to target her relentlessly. Every screen, every cut, every box out was met with an extra shove or a hard collision. Hull spent more time on the hardwood than anyone should in a single game, wincing in pain with every impact. But instead of folding, she responded with an act of pure defiance.
Yeah, I mean, it's how you look at it. It looks, honestly, by some of the fouls and the way it was going, it looks like we were almost too physical, but yet at the same time, I feel like we have to be able to get that on the other end. I think, sometimes when you just look at the game as a whole, when you look at the way that it works, sometimes you manipulate it to different ways and you have smaller matchups. So, I mean, I just don't think it's really possible all the time for some of those smaller matchups to really do such a clean job of that. But hey, I'm here to hoop, so none of my business.
From the perimeter, she began to rain fire, burying 5 three-pointers to tie a franchise playoff record. Each shot was a message: you can knock me down, but you will not break me. It was a heroic performance born from grit and toughness, a stunning display of resilience that the box score could never fully capture.
Hull kept her out of that space as much as she would have wanted to. She did end up with nice returns.
7-0. Aces run has been stopped. Sims in.
While Hull was playing through agony, the headlines were celebrating Aja Wilson's supposed comeback. She finished with 25 points, a stat line that looks impressive on paper, but anyone who watched the game saw the truth. Wilson didn't win with skill. She won by bulldozing her way into the paint, initiating contact, and drawing whistles that were mysteriously absent for Indiana.
Purcell on Young. Sims over. Asia Wilson, she had to put some extra arc on that.
At the other end of the floor, Aaliyah Boston was living in a different reality. She was subjected to a relentless barrage of elbows, shoves, and uncalled contact. Every rebound was a war, every post-up a wrestling match. Yet the whistles remained silent for her. Wilson's celebrated night was a fraud, a performance propped up by a favorable officiating standard that allowed her to play bully ball while Boston was treated like a crash test dummy.
Step on that note with Kelsey just having a little bit of a, they were able to contain a little bit more. How did you feel like they were able to be successful in that regard?
I mean, the physicality won. She's like a little pinball. I know that the museum's right down the street, so sometimes I feel like she's getting pinged around everywhere.
If there was any doubt about how compromised this game was, it was erased by the most unlikely of sources, the winning coach. In her post-game press conference, the Aces' own Becky Hammon delivered the smoking gun. She bluntly stated that the physicality was out of control. She compared the uncalled grabbing and holding to what's allowed in the NFL, and admitted that if NBA players were subjected to the same level of contact, there would be fights.
The physicality is out of control, that's for sure. I mean, you can bump and grab a wide receiver in the NFL for those first 5 yards, but you can do it in the W for the whole half court. You put 2 hands on somebody like that, it should be an automatic foul. They have the freedom of movement. There's no freedom. And I'm not saying that we're not fouling too. I'm not saying that. I'm saying it's out of control.
This wasn't Indiana complaining about a tough loss. This was the architect of the winning team admitting that the game had devolved into something unrecognizable. When the coach who benefited from the chaos tells you the chaos was unacceptable, you know the game was not legitimate.
Now the starting point guard, and here's Hull, an early test. Great sign because her shooting has been off. Yes. Mitchell. Short. Hull with another offensive rebound, turn, shoots, scores. 2 of their last 3. Hull again, yes. Oh,
You found it.
Now the chessboard flips. The The series moves to Indianapolis to Gainbridge Fieldhouse, and the Aces are about to learn what a real home court advantage feels like. This isn't just a friendly crowd, it's a force multiplier. Gainbridge is an amplifier where every defensive stop is met with a deafening roar, and every bad call is met with the furious judgment of nearly 17,000 fans.
Fever runs still. Lexie Hull has scored the last 6 points for Indiana with a couple of threes. Mitchell, good look. And she got it. Kelsey Mitchell in that first half had 9 points, but was just 1 of 5 from 3-point range. It was Lexie Hull doing the damage from 3, and now she's doing a Kelsey Mitchell imitation of the night. Sims gets the roll.
This is the arena where opponents have visibly crumbled under the weight of the noise, where the pressure becomes so immense that it can sway the very calls on the floor. The subtle officiating bias that thrived in the Vegas arena will not survive under the intense scrutiny of a crowd burning with the injustice they witnessed in Game 2.
If I could just ask you to look forward to the series going to your home court in Indianapolis, how much is that really going to make a difference in this series, and how much does it mean to you guys to have that home court advantage?
Yeah, I think it's going to be great. Our fans, they show up and they show out, and so for us just, using that, our own energy, but also using the energy in the crowd, I think it's going to be really great for us.
Las Vegas may have won the battle, but they have ignited a war. They didn't break the fever, they only made them angrier. Now Indiana returns home with the fuel of revenge. Lexie Hull has already proven her toughness is unbreakable. Aliyah Boston has shown her composure is unshakable. And Kelsey Mitchell, after being smothered by a defensive scheme built on uncalled fouls, is about to be unleashed in a building that roars her name.
Yeah, we're excited. I know the last time it was the first playoff game in a really long time, so to be able to have 2 more for our fans that have been there with us all season, I'm really excited for that, and we definitely do feed off of their energy, so we're really looking forward to it.
The Aces, with the help of the officials, managed to escape with a win. But they didn't expose Indiana's weakness, they revealed their own desperation. Now they have to walk into the Lion's Den, where payback is on the agenda, and an entire city is ready to serve as the judge, jury, and executioner.